Hey folks, welcome to the channel. Just here to go into the Budget by Paycheck workbook and see what's happening with the first paycheck. We're going to kind of close out the first paycheck and move on into the second, and that's about it. So I actually already have my glasses on, so let's get started. Before we get into it, I wanted to go over kind of my goals here and, just review it before, because we haven't looked at this in a little while. Um, because of the financial instability, I just wanted to kind of look at it and make sure I don't need to adjust anything. The market's going up and down right now. I don't think it's a time to, decide definitively that I can't meet my by 5 year retirement goal. So I'm just going to leave it in here where I have it. I have saved for my vacation and I am ready to start putting money into the emergency fund. It's a little bit later than I was thinking I would start. I was kind of thinking I would start putting towards that 1K savings fund in April, but I had a little misstep in April and just kind of decided I was just gonna forget my budget and just do whatever I wanted. And so instead of starting to put money into an emergency fund, I just ignored my budget. But I should be able to get that started very soon. I'm not fully funded my sinks, but I have been funding the sinks that I needed, like for things that were coming up right away. Everything, for the most part, I'm pulling money from my sinking funds in order to pay for the larger bills that I have. I have taken care of the vacation money. What I'll need for that. So things are looking good. The U.S. Bank debt is slowly but surely ticking down, which I'm happy for. I was able to put quite a bit of money, more than I kind of expected, for out of the first paycheck into U.S. Bank. So I was very excited about that because I didn't put much in last month. These are all still my 5 year medium term goals. Get that vacation for next year, start working on a 10K emergency fund. I do want to get a new vehicle. That's a couple years out. I'm not really thinking about that in earnest right now. I want to do these things first. Definitely want to do the floors up here. I think this is probably going to happen before I purchase a vehicle or even start funding my 10K. So yeah, I think everything's good there. Just going over here, I did kind of look and make sure there was nothing coming up that I was forgetting about. I did have the personal property tax. They ended up being about $100, so I'll adjust that for next year. Because the value of my car goes down every year, it'll probably be less than 200 next year. I just don't know how much. So the next reasonable size bill is not due until the 29th. So I'll have a sinking fund for entertainment, and that'll cover these two things. I did go ahead and add the season tickets, which will run from April to October, and that total amount was 1,200, and I'm just putting 146 in there from April to October. One of the things I did do was I kind of took a look at how much I was putting, being taken from my payroll. I thought it might be a good thing to have where I could look at it year over year and kind of compare those things, because unless I go back and look at a pay stub, I don't have these numbers in my head. So if we look in terms about how much my health care costs and how much the employer is contributing towards it, that's important information for when I retire and I don't have health insurance covered by my employer. So I'll need something to look at to see how much those costs have increased over the years. I think that my health coverage premium is going to be just slightly less, because in this year, for some reason, I thought I went in and I did, you can go in and do this health assessment on the website and it'll give you, like, I don't know, some amount off every month, like $16 or something. And I forgot to do that, or I did it, But I think I did it too early and it didn't count for the year. And I didn't know it until well after the time that I could actually go in and retake it had passed. But I did do that on the date that I was allowed to do it, and I'm sure I'll have the that extra money coming off next year. So even though the premiums went up just a little bit, the actual cost that that's going to come out of my paycheck is going to be a little bit less. I looked at what's coming out as far as my long-term savings. I have a cash match that the institution that I work for will do, or university, yeah. So if I put in a certain amount, they'll put in half. So I went ahead and took advantage of that. I know it's not a lot, but for me, I look at this in terms of um, what my overall compensation for the job I'm doing is. Right, this $700 a month I consider compensation. The other thing is most of this is actually these two pieces right here. They don't give you the option. They're just going to do it whether you like it or not. And I think a percent comes out and then they contribute a certain percent of my income. I don't remember what those percents are right now off the top of my head, but so this goes up every year so long as I get a raise. I added up the math and from my paycheck, um, what I am putting in every year into my retirement and what the university is putting in towards my retirement, and that comes up to $14,400. I do have another Roth account that I put in, so I'm putting in roughly every year $15,000 in towards retirement. You know, arguably you would think, well, then that means every year your income, your retirement funds would grow $15,000, but no, that is not the way it works because it has not been that way for months and months. Although this month I think is going to look pretty good, which is nice. But it's, again, there's no predictability with the way that finances are going right now, and I'm just riding it out. We'll see how we come out on the other side. Hopefully we'll get some stability here before too long. And then the other thing is I do have this right here, what's in my sinking funds, what I need, when I need to spend it. As mentioned, of course, I do want to start on the 1K and the 10K funds. So I'm going to start working on those eventually. Obviously, there's no way I could put $800 in every month to get it done within this was just me putting figures on the page, and I don't think this is realistic. The things that I know that I will need to start putting in soon are some of these ones where I know I have the bill coming up soon. And we can see that we just got through this one, the personal property tax. And I know this is focusing on the COIL, sorry. This is not due until next year, so I don't have to worry about that until next year. But Prime's coming up. I'll have to start socking away a little bit of money towards entertainment. That would be the sinking funds to cover these two things, which are within a few months of each other. The other thing is BJ's and, of course, travel next year. I need to have this, it says April, but that was actually, I think I've already done that. Yeah, that's done. Just travel in general, yeah, $5,000. So I want to have that. The target for that is every January. So I'll have to start thinking about this in earnest pretty soon in order to have $5,000 by January. And that would cover, my basically the lodging. That's roughly what it costs to have a house that's big enough to have everyone that I want to come stay. Season tickets, of course, that'll be February, $1,200. These I'll get started and make sure that I have that covered for when the target is. So everything looks good. I don't think there's anything that needs to be adjusted. Of course, this right here, the 240, for next year, I'll lower that down a little bit. I'll probably put 200 just so that it is in line with at least what I spent this year. Again, pretty sure as far as the car goes, it'll depreciate within the next year and it'll be less than $200. So let's go into we are definitely in May. I was just questioning myself. What month are we in? I don't know. That's how I feel. Last couple days have been a little, I don't know, just odd days. So we are, this is the 17th. So this is really basically the second full week in May. And I did get paid yesterday. So we'll be kind of looking at what this week looked like, how my paycheck ended out, and then we'll also talk about what will happen in the coming 2 weeks. And this is paid. I went ahead and did that. This was a new bill, so I just wanted to make sure I would remember it. So I added it there. Okay, so this was my first paycheck. I ended up being able to put $700 on the U.S. bank account. I was so happy about that. And not only that, but my daughter, she pays me every month. My daughter and her two elementary school aged children live in my house, and she contributes to the household. She typically contributes roughly $300 a month towards the household expenses, which I don't account for. I don't budget that into things in case she's unable to pay it. I don't want to make it part of my budget because it's just, again, I don't want to rely on that on the off chance that she is unable to have that money. Um, so she actually gave me part of it, I think last week, not this week, but or maybe it was earlier this week, like at the beginning of the week. Um, and what I did was I went ahead and put that into the travel. I just kept the cash. I kept the cash and I put it in this here. So I'll just have cash while I'm on my travel, and I just noted it here. But not only that, she she decided she had the money, so she paid me for May and June. She paid off the other $80, and then she paid me also for June. So she gave me another $380 2 days ago. So what I did was I went ahead and for the travel, I got the full. I wanted an extra $500 to take for our expenses during my vacation. So I went ahead and put all of that cash here, and now I have $500 cash to take on that trip. In addition to that, I had a little bit left over, and because I have this pet care expense coming up to board my two cats. They are Corbin Dallas and Ruby Rod. If you know that reference, put it in chat and share with others, and maybe they'll watch the movie. So what I did was I applied that to also the pet care, and now I've almost satisfied the $500 I need for the pet care. So that's actually, I will put this $100 in the sinking funds because I will need it there because, I'll be giving them a credit card. I won't be giving them cash for that, but I will put this $100 there. So her doing that because she had the cash was great. That allowed me to cover almost everything for the travel that's coming up. Which will allow me to focus on some of these other sinking funds that I was talking about just a little while ago, and my debt, and the savings account. So, all said, this has been an excellent month. Even if Rachel had not done this right here, I still would have been able to do this $700. So that just went towards this right here. This was just extra cash because if I didn't have $500 going to the beach, I just wouldn't have $500. This was like a goal, but it wasn't necessarily what I absolutely had to have. So that's great. I feel like this month went really well. I think I mentioned in my last video what I did was I just kind of took a step back. I stopped focusing so much and just started um, just doing what I should naturally do anyway. And if, just be reasonable in my spending. And that's how it worked. And I'm super excited about that. I did go ahead and pay my personal property taxes. I pulled out that savings to go ahead and pay for that. It was I instead of putting money in and then taking it out again, I just took the assumed that I transferred the extra 50 that I was going to transfer here and then pulled it out. I just felt like it worked better that way. Um, so then you'll see right here, it's like I've got no money in my transportation, but that has been paid. I did pay it from the other, it's in the other part of the paycheck. Actually, is it? Let me look. Hold on. Transfer. Yeah, it's in the other part, but that's fine. I think I paid it on the same day I got paid. So, um, yeah, so things went pretty good. Generally speaking, I didn't have any big expenses that I was expecting. I probably still will. My daughter and I need to go um, have a pedicure, and that's going to be part of gifting. So I've got $100 that we're going to go do it at some point. I just don't know when. We have to coordinate, which can often be a problem. Let's see. So that was the kind of closeout for the last paycheck, and now we're into yesterday I got paid, so I went ahead and put the forward, added what Rachel gave me yesterday, and things are looking great. Again, I fully funded my travel. I've almost fully funded my pet care. That means I have almost three sinking funds almost fully funded, which is amazing. Um, so I'll start putting money into some of these other sinking funds I have. I really would like to get a couple of maybe shorts or little, summer dresses or something to go to the beach with. Um, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work and whether I'll even be able to fit it in. I should be able to apply some more money towards US Bank. Uh, but I will wait and see how things go. Um, just my normal expenses coming up. You can see here the county taxes ended up being a little over 198 because I forgot that they have a service fee when you pay online of like $1 something, and I think it's worth it not to have to call someone, not to have to send in a check, put a stamp on it, just go online and take care of it. I am including the normal variable expenses, and again, here's that $100. I don't know whether we'll spend it this month, during this paycheck, or in the beginning of June. We'll see. I'm just going to continue to roll that forward until such time as we actually go. I do expect to have to go get some fuel, and I probably will have to get some litter or something for the pets before the end of the month. Um, I will probably have, not sure when I have to go, I have to do a telemed appointment with my doctor again, probably in 2 weeks. Um, but I don't know whether it'll be part of this paycheck or again, part of the beginning of next month. I'm just keeping my normal $200 food budget. I think that's good to go. Um, Really happy about what's going on in my sinking funds, and checking's doing pretty good. Everything's coming in, and you can see this is like if we look between where I got, hold on a second here. Yeah, here we go. So last month when I was overspending, it's like I had filled up a whole page and then some, but by the time I got to my second paycheck. So you can see my spending is a lot more in control. Even with the shoes that I got, it's got some nice sandals, which I had been needing. They're they're sandals, but they look kind of like tennis shoes, and they're something I can wear kayaking, but also at the beach. So that was for me. That was the $20. And then for my grandson, I got him some tennis shoes too. Everything else is looking good. Um, this is my U.S. bank balance. It's right here. I did have interest of $56. Again, unfortunately, when you have a balance, you just kind of have to expect that that's going to happen. There's my 700 payment, and then I actually had some points that I applied, so that was nice. So it's down to 2320. Won't it be nice when it goes under $2,000? Gosh, when it goes under 1,000, all of that's in sight. I'm super excited about it. Um, because I kind of stalled for a little while and it was getting a little bit discouraging. The other thing is my sinking funds. Got a little over $1,000, but I also have cash. So part of this is $500 here, and this is $100. There's an extra $600 here. I'm going to keep the cash for the beach trip. Um, and yes, I'll deposit whatever's left of the cash. I went on to ChatGPT today. I asked ChatGPT. I keep calling it ChatGTP. Um, I ask it all kinds of stuff, and I ask it how much it's going to cost in fuel to get to our destination, and so I figured that out, and Rachel said she'll split that with me. So that will be, I'll just use that from my transportation funds because it's going to be minimal. So what I normally put is around $30. So it'll be like in between $30 and $50, which will be nice. And I'm just going to use that from transportation. I'm not going to create a special one. Oh, I forgot to do this. I did receive my bill, but I forgot to put that in there. And as far as everything else goes, there's nothing really here worth talking about. I haven't really been keeping up with this because I haven't been doing meal plans a whole lot. And that's pretty much it for the month of May. Uh, Things are going along fine. I'm feeling good about what's going into sinking funds and what's going into the debt, and looking forward to start building some more um, emergency fund amounts so that if something comes up like what happened in my basement, and I think it will because we had water, we had a lot of rain last week, and their water came in a different part of my basement. And it's a place that it came into my basement 4 or 5 years ago, 4 years maybe, and it hasn't happened since then. Um, and I thought it had been mitigated by a sealant in that part of the basement, but it did come in. And so I will probably, maybe this summer, have to have someone come in and dig up the foundation and make sure there's not a crack in there that needs to be taken care of. So it's always something when you own a house, I'm telling you. But I just, having water come into your house, getting into things you don't want it to is just such a pain. And then getting it mitigated is always so costly. And that's what the other one was. So the roughly $10,000 debt that I incurred late last fall. What had been happening was I have a stairwell leading to my basement, and in the I can't say it, stairwell, there's a drain pipe, and you know, usually drain pipes, they go down and they drain off somewhere in your yard. Well, it turns out that this drain pipe just really led to nowhere. And so if it would rain hard, the drain pipe would fill up. It was reasonably deep, but it would fill up and then there would be no place for it to go. And so it would fill up the stairwell, it would go underneath the framing of the door, and it would leak into my basement. It would just come in through underneath the door. So I finally had someone come and take a look at it and say, hey, can you like snake this, figure out why it keeps getting clogged? Because when it rains, I just have to stand there with a shop vac and shop vac it out, and it's unpleasant. So they said, well, actually, it leads nowhere. We're going to have to put a new pump in there, dig everything out from the stairwell into your basement, put the pump there, and it goes off all the time. It which saves me from standing there with the shop vac, honestly. So when it goes off, I say, okay, there's money were spent, because if it's going off, that means I would have been in my basement for a while trying to suction out water from a drain pipe that goes nowhere. Um, so long story short is water in your basement, I think, just tends to cost a lot of money getting it mitigated, but it's worth it when it's done, and then you don't have to worry about it or stress about it anymore. So we'll be facing that at some point this year. I just don't know when I'll be able to actually deal. Is it deal with it? I don't know. Get in a frame of mind to be able to even call someone and say, "Come look at my foundation, help me understand what's going on," and then figure out how much it'll cost. So I expect that to happen at some point this year. The next video will be on the 24th. Don't have a whole lot going on between now and then, but we'll see what happens. Um, in the meantime, I guess enjoy the weather. It's been so great. My son and I went hiking last weekend, and I'm hoping to go kayaking again in a week or two, just to get out and enjoy the weather. So I hope you do the same, and I will talk to you then.